All right, I was going to do a quick review on my trades and then also a market sort of review. So the SPY made a pretty good reversal. I felt like this would have been a good opportunity here to go long, sort of this double bottom. This was a previous pivot here, sort of the neckline. Both of those things combined, you got the move above, you got the pullback, and then you got that really nice continuation. Could have gone long on a new 5 minute high or maybe even like a new 10-minute high here. Essentially, the target would have been high of day, which is right here. And that would have been a good risk reward, probably 4 to 1 or more. Um, and then you had the potential to get all the way up to yesterday's low, which was right here, 464, which it actually did, I think, right before the close. So you had two targets and it would have made it to both targets. So it was a good trade. The reason why I didn't take it was let me make this daily chart bigger here. Actually, let me get this other one here. So here's the SPY daily. Um, I just really, so what I'm trying to do is I need more, I need a better level. So let's just go over first what SPY was doing. So SPY sold off pretty hard with all the other markets last Wednesday. Yeah, Wednesday. And then we had two indecision days. We had a doji here and then another inside day. However, it was sort of compressing down. Then we had the big gap down. And then on top of it, right after the open, it also sold off. So it was like all signs pointed to overextended, right? Even though we're probably due for a pullback here in the bigger time frame, it just screamed overextended, right? Because we had a really strong down move inside days, which this helped for a continuation down move, but then you had a gap and then a down move right at the open. So really, this was probably something to remember for a reversal intraday, um, which is a gap down and then a sell off right into it. Now it could have easily just continued lower, but I don't know. It just seemed like it was due for a pullback here, and that was a good time. But then when I look on the 5 minute, I just don't see anything else here. So like, I liked this double bottom, and maybe there were other factors that you could have gone along with, tape, L2, stuff like that. But for me, I would have wanted to see more over here. I'm just trying to really make a habit of just needing more confirmation. I mean, however, if there's a really good higher time frame level from further away, I'm down to use that. And if that aligns with this, then I could go long, which it kind of does here. The 460 in my mind was a good level. You got that, that psych level of 460, the even number, in tens, 20s, 30s, you got the 460s. And then if you look back here, it actually, when it sold off for a few days, it didn't get lower than 460. And then here it didn't get higher, and then it gapped. So really 460 is a good level. And then when you combine that with, okay, well today it does a double bottom and the neckline is actually also right at 460. So I think that is enough to try it. Um, so had I if I'm given this chance again, I'll go for it. But any higher time frame level that's harder to see than that, I wouldn't do it. Um, like for example, for Ford here, you know, it was selling off. It's hard to see, but here's the 5 minute chart, right? We had about 20 minutes and then it broke low of day here. Now that's just a low of day break, right? Is this level I mean, you have a psych level of 24, but is it any more special than that? That's what I want to ask myself. Is 24 any more special than low of day break and then psych level? Well, when I zoom out, it actually is pretty, it actually is a really good level. It's a fresh level from the last few days. You had the breakout, you had the pullback here to 24, and then 24 has been an inflection here for the last few days, as well as it was confirmed again on Friday that 24 was the low of day. So to me right there, that says 24 is a special level. And if I believe the direction is down, I think I could risk around 24 and get it down to the target of, the pretty much cut and dry clear target here of 2350. It was the pullback here on that first breakout day. It was the low of day twice here on this day, low of day on this day, which it went a little bit further and then bounced right back up. See, it was pre-market low in here. So it was a perfect target. Anything below 2350 or 2337, and we were going to get a continuation down, and we could have gotten an even bigger move. So that's what I'm trying to look at now when I want to get in. I ask myself, is that a good level that I can actually really clearly see? If it's not, if I'm really fighting myself to find the level, then I'm going to be more picky, pretty much. So let's look at these other ones, like NVIDIA here. I got a little short on it. So yeah, NVIDIA is a good example here. So we have similar days to the SPY and the Qs, right? Sell off, 2 inside days, and then a gap down. Well, a gap's down actually under a good level here. If you notice here, we had a gap up and then a really big high volume day. So the low of this day is important, which is, looks like it's like 271, yeah, 271. And then the bottom of the gap's also important here. This 267, generally somewhere around there. That's also somewhat important. So this is an important level. And then it shows that it's also important even now because it respects it here almost to the penny, respects it the last 2 days, right? So that level is super important. It was important back here, and now it continues to be important right up until today. So to me, the only place that I really want to trade NVIDIA is around that level. Well, price gaps down and then pretty much sells off. So it goes pretty far away from the level here. Here's the level 270, 271 right here. You can see here NVIDIA did a double bottom similar to the SPY, breaks that neckline, has some, so here, high of day, that lined up almost perfectly with that gap on the daily here. So that gap here was the high of day today. So that was a good combination here. So I was starting to think that maybe I could short it around here instead, but I held and didn't short it. It did make a new high. I didn't really see a lot of new volume come in. I wanted it to come all the way up here. However, there was a big ask on 270, and I think it got filled, and then that was it. And then so I think that was the time to get in. I don't really watch the level 2 or tape right now, so I didn't see that. However, I do sometimes lower it and then I check because I do sometimes want to know. And I do think that there was a big ask at 270, and I think that might have been it. So that would have been a good example of an offer just staying there, waiting, got filled, nothing else was after it, and then it was a good sort of sell from there. So I liked the 271. However, maybe I could say, well, 270, we have the really big ask. We have the psychological 270, which is better than 271. And then all of those things are good enough to short it. Now it needs to give me a good entry. And so what I did is I was really patient with this. You can see here, I wasn't sure what it was going to do. Took a while. Then it started to sell off. I felt like I missed the move. But it didn't keep going because I felt like the move was really going to take it to 266 and then all the way down to 265 and even further here. If you look at this chart, same chart, only it has VWAP on here. So here was 270. So right here, I thought it was going to bring it all the way down to pre-market low and then maybe even VWAP. But this was opening print here. And 266 ended up being where it bounced, and I do like that. Anyways, what I'm trying to say is it didn't fully make the move, and it started to pull back. So what I did was I put in a limit order right here, close to this shoulder, and then my stop was about $1 away. So I was risking about $1 to get. I was risking $1 to get I was really preparing to get to about 265. So I was risking $1 for $3.50. So it was a 3.5 risk reward, which is plenty good. It did fill, didn't go up much further, and then it went down. Thought I had the move. 2 5-minute candles in a row. This looked really good here. I partialed some. Normally I would have partialed a little bit heavier, but I was really convicted in this, thought that we were really going to get this sell down because it just moved up so fast from here, 5% here with almost straight green candles. So I just really thought I was going to get a good pullback, but I was up about 2.5 R right here, and I probably could have partialed a bit heavier. Anyways, I guess what I'm trying to say is it would have been nicer if this level was right here. This 270 was more in line with low of day on Friday, which, gosh, it almost was. Really, this is 270.50. So it really was a zone between 271 and 270 was the level, was the zone here. So I think I picked the right spot. Yeah. And I also wanted to go over this really quick here on my forward trade. Before I entered it, I pretty much thought that I had missed the move here. So here's the $24 level. Here's the break. And I marked it with a rectangle box saying that this was a good entry point. Now it would have been a break down, so I would have had to almost enter it right on the break, and I wasn't prepared for that, or I wasn't really planning on it. And so I pretty much put a box there just to tell myself, well, this was a good place. And so what I'm doing now is I'm doing more limit orders because it's sort of forcing me to not chase. And so in this instance, it started moving away. Felt like, hey, I missed the move. However, this was the entry point. If there was a pullback at all, it would be back to this spot. This would be the best risk reward. And so what I did was I did put in a limit order around 97 cents here. My stop is going to be above 24.02. I was just going to give it 2 cents above that 24 because I, just generally up here was the resistance. And so what I wanted to show was how like price ends up getting pretty far away. My target here was the 23.50. So it was about a 50 cents target. However, price is already going more than about 50% of the way here. You can see here it gets all the way down to 77 cents, and I think it gets even a little bit further. And to me, I was like, oh, I totally missed the move. However, I still end up getting this move. This price ends up pulling all the way back as high as I think 94 cents. I end up getting filled at 92 cents. I do end up pushing it down a little bit because I figure that 92 cents, that's only a 10-cent risk, and I still have a 4.5 R reward. So it ends up being a good reward, even though I push it down a little bit. But it just shows how limit orders really do work. You miss the initial break, and especially if price moves this fast, we know as traders that price always tends to pull back after a strong move. That's just part of a healthy move is to have a good pullback on low volume to then continue. And that's exactly what happens here. I can even fast forward it for a second here. Right here. So you can see here, forward ends up coming back, comes up as high as 94 cents. I start thinking, I don't think this is going to go much higher than 94 or this wick here, this other 5-minute candle, which is around 95. And I noticed, some more selling here. I felt like this might be my only shot. The risk reward is still good enough. So then I move it down to 92 cents here. Come on. Right here. So So it gets filled, 92 cents. My stop wasn't supposed to be up there. I set it up there. That's why. But I set it up there with a 10-cent risk. And so I push it all the way down. Kind of confusing, but I could explain it another time. But yeah, right there, 10-cent risk. Target was 23.50. So, good, really good risk reward. And that limit order filled, which was really nice because then I'm almost right in the money. And yeah, so that just shows how even though you think you missed the move, just wait for that pullback. I mean, I put these boxes all the time around levels that I felt like would have been a good level. And man, I kid you not, like maybe 50% of them retesting that same level, and I don't enter it. But it really can work. And here, I mean, SPY, you can see it did it actually. Like I felt like this was the move, and then even it kept going. And when it got all the way up to this high, I sort of felt like, oh man, I missed the move. But no, it's like price pulls back really quick. I mean, look at 15 minutes of pullback here, all the way down to this 460.20 area, and then boom, rockets up. So right here or right here, really solid entry, and you would have gotten the retest too. So that's it. Thanks.